you think about the reasons you drive throughout the week, the first thing that probably comes to mind is your daily commute. Remote working, also known as working at home, eliminates the need to drive so much and greatly reduces our dependence on cars.
About 100 miles a week has been taken out of my schedule that I was driving to work, and now with the home-based office I'm not. But along with that, I know the cost of gasoline and wear and tear on our vehicle. In addition to that, air pollution that comes from commuting to and from work, that a lot of the pollution that we experience comes during those peak times. I do think that people are more aware, of the impact that we have. Those of us that drive to work are in that morning traffic and evening traffic about the same time each day if you keep a standard, business schedule, and that there are more organizations that are open to maybe taking one day a week to where you can work from home. There are great benefits from being able to work at home, to telecommute. One of the downsides can be having a meeting space or the need to make copies of documents or prepare agendas for a meeting or things of that nature. And so it is very nice that here in Evansville that we do have a space at Gage.
The station, really the idea started with a kind of a core group of some of the people from Startup Weekend and who were already involved in the entrepreneurial community. We were looking at the possibility of creating kind of a network of space in Evansville for the entrepreneur, the person who was working out of a coffee shop or out of their home, who didn't have the capacity to build the kind of the business network that happens when you're in a shared environment, or have the resources from their existing establishment. And that really ties into the local economy in a couple different ways. You have the capacity to do random collisions.
It has been a big transition for me to go to a home-based office from where I was before, where there were a lot of people around and it was a social environment. A piece of that transition that I really hadn't anticipated, to spend a lot of time alone.
It's the concept that people beget people, and so people want to be part of a community, and so when you develop communities, whether that's on the street in a public space or inside in a public space like a shared office environment, you end up developing a community where it's not just we come in and do work, but they play Tetris and they write the scores on the wall, and they have this kind of shared respect for each other and desire to see the other one grow and become a successful business just as they have. The younger generations are starting to develop their own companies and looking kind of more of an entrepreneurial spirit, whether that's starting a tech company or a coffee shop or what have you. There's certain resources that need to be provided, and there has been a trend in the market to do things kind of more cooperatively with the sharing economy is, I guess, the right term for it, where you see things like they're sharing car resources with companies like Uber and Lyft. They're sharing environment, their housing and the residential, and then also the office space. And so that's where the station comes in. And co-working is, there's no longer a need or desire to have my own cubicle or have my own corner office. It's I can work collaboratively in an environment where I can share the resources with other people, not only lower my costs, but really build a community.